So today in this session we are going to learn about what is the actual meaning of the geography. So most of the people consider geography meaning the structures of the earth. So does is the real meaning of geography? Does the definition of the geography is only about the physical appearance of the earth? Only it is about the volcanic activities, the plateaus, the mountains, the trees, the climatic condition that you see. So in the beginning, people used to consider geography as the physical sciences. So most of the scholars consider geography as a scientific subject. So in somewhere it was true also, cause geography is all about the phenomena that are occurring on the earth surfaces. So we know our earth is itself not static, it is dynamic. So earth has the two type of basically the motion. The first one is the revolution, the second one is the rotation. So our earth is not actually stable in nature. It is going to rotate on its own axis and it is going to revolve around our sun, that is a star. So in different stages of the time the earth has shown the different properties. We can also say the present is the key to the past. That means what is going today must have appeared in the past, but there must be some difference in the pace. It may be that in the past the processes of the many things are slow, but in the current situation it may be speedy or it may be slow. So different type of the researcher or the scholar try to explain geography in a different ways. So the first geographer was the Homer. So he was a poet. He has written the two book Iliad and Odyssey. Iliad and Odyssey. So Homer was basically a poet, or in his book Iliad and Odyssey, he tried to show the different geographical phenomena, and he has introduced the first time the literary tradition in the geography. After that, we have got the Thales of Miletus. We know the Thales theorem in the mathematics, and he has introduced the mathematical tradition in the geography. So geography has struggled a lot. In what sense I am saying that geography as a discipline has struggled a lot? So there has always been a clash between whether to accept geography as a subject of humanity or consider the geography as a scientific subject. So there has always been a dichotomy and dualism that can be seen in the study of geography. We can also see the debate between the Safar and the Hassan. So both of them has a debate on the basis of the areal differentiation. So suppose this is a person A and this is a person B and this is a person C. So what is the meaning of the areal differentiation? What is the actual meaning of the areal differentiation? So if we try to find the common activities, like this person A belongs to a high earning pupil. So if A has a lot of the money and belongs to the capitalist class, so this A must have the good living of a standard. So similarly, in that condition of the B also belongs to a capitalist class, and B must also have the good living of a standard. So this is all my assumptions only. This is a hypothetical situation that I'm giving you. So C in his reason is also belongs to a capitalist class. So since he belongs to a capitalist class, so he must have the good living of a standard. So now we connect this A, B and C with reference to the capitalist classes and came to a conclusion that both that these all three people A, B and C must have the good standard of living. So what I am trying to say is we are trying to here make the geography as a law seeking subject, or trying to generalize the things. So if we are trying to generalize the things, then that approach in the geography is known as the nomothetic approach. So that approach in the geography is known as the nomothetic approach. Secondly, now again we are taking a hypothetical example, like we have the three person, the person A, the person B and person C. Now this A, B and C must belongs to the capitalist class. But how that A is different from B and B is different from C? So if I am trying to differentiate the uniqueness, or I am trying to find what is the special about that A, if I am trying to say this A has the good living of a standard, so what is that actual meaning? Does this A is overall happy because he belongs to a capitalist class? Now this B also belongs to capitalist class, but how B is different from A? So what is the meaning of the happiness? What is the meaning of the happiness must be different for B. And similarly in the situation of C, C also belongs to a capitalist class, but the happiness for the C must be different in approach. So if I'm trying to be differentiate between this A, B and C, how these three people are different from each other. So in that condition, I am trying to follow the ideographic approach. So, what is the meaning of the ideographic approach? So, the meaning of the ideographic approach is to find the uniqueness. How the region A is different from region B, and region B is different from region C, and region C is different from region Z. So if I am trying to particulate, if I am trying to distinguish between the different people or different regions, so I am following the ethnographic approach. So geography is both. Geography follows the nomothetic as well as ideographic by the different inductive and deductive methods. So what is the meaning of the deductive and what is the meaning of the inductive? So suppose I'm from learning the sections A, section B and section C. I'm learning this section A, section B and section C, and my deep observation says that both three people both three people are working very hard. So these three people are very laborious. So here I am trying to create a theory that after my observation I am trying to create a theory, and my theory is these all people in this section are very laborious. In the other way we can say what is the meaning of the deductive approach. Now I have created a theory that this person A and this person B and this person C, these three, this all the people in these sections are very laborious. Now I am trying to test this theory whether my assumption, whether my observation is correct or incorrect. So I'm trying to, so I'm in deductive process, I'm trying to test my hypothesis, whether my hypothesis is correct or not. So Plato and Aristotle are known as the master of the deductive reasoning. So from a given theory, I'm trying to apply that theory in the different persons and trying to test that theory whether my assumptions are correct or incorrect. So if my assumption is correct, that means my theory will be correct if my test is successful. In the same way, if my test or my observation or my theory become fail while testing, then my hypothesis will be error. So in the deductive process, we are testing the theory, or in the inductive process, we are creating a theory. We are trying to generalize the thing. So after this, we are going to learn about why geography a symbiotic subject, or my statement is justifying or not. So, in the concept of the geography, when I was explaining the meaning of the geography as the physical appearance of the earth or the structures of the earth, so how that different type of the structures are present in the different regions. Somewhere the volcanic eruptions is happening, somewhere there is the subduction zones, some there will be lateral erosion. So how that one place climatic condition is different from the other place, why the all places or all the terrain, all the landforms are not similar, why there is uniqueness in the every places. So this is not actually the true meaning of the geography. We are only showing the physical part of the geography. So in a very later stage we came to know that the anthropogenic activities have also an adverse impact on the geography. Suppose suppose we have the mountain areas, and from these hilly areas we are tribal peoples are doing the shifting agriculture, that is also known as the slash and burn farming. So that shifting agriculture is practiced on zero point 0.1 to 1 hectare of land. So in this condition we are cutting down the trees, burning them, left the land, and we get the virgin soil. So from that virgin soil we get the maximum productivity from that land, and after the sometimes that land become unfit for cultivation, and most of the erosion activities that we can see on that landform. So in the future, because of the continuous denudation and erosion, we can see the avalanche. So that human is affecting of the natural features of the landforms, not only nature itself performing the changes or produce the dynamism in the geography or in the landforms of a different areas or the region, but the human activities is also impacting on the geography. Now, so what means the actual meaning or actual definition of the geography? So geography is nothing but the relation of the environment along with the human activities. So we cannot separate the human from the geography. So the second stream that we learn in the geography is a part of the human geography. So if we include human, we must have to understand the behavior of the human also. And to find the behavior of the human also, the science is unable to explain about the behavior of the human. So in that condition, now the geography has been treated as a science or also as a part of the humanity. So now my question was, why geography a symbiotic subject? So what is the meaning of the symbiotic? What is the meaning of the symbiotic relationship? So this subject enters in the every field. Like if we are going to understand about the economic activities, we have to understand, we have to see the location, and from this, to find out the location, we must follow the chorology or space. So from that space we are trying to find, so what are the special about that place, what are the minerals, or what are the economic conditions of that people engaged in the different functions. So people are doing the primary activities, or people are doing the secondary activities. If people are doing the secondary activities, so what are kinds of the industries are there, or if the industries are there, so they are the agro based industry, they are the metallic based industry, they are the heavy industry, they are the light industry, they are the cottage industry. So what kind of the industry or the services they are providing? So in that condition we have to understand about the location. So geography comes into the politics also. Jalen has first told about the polity. So we have to know about the theory of the Mackinder heartland theory. So he was the first who put forward the importance of the geography. So he was the one who said, whoever have the control over the heartland have the control over the whole world. So he was the first who introduced the geography, the importance of the geography in the history. So like we are going to divide the geography into sections. So there is very close relationship between the history and geography. So so Herodotus is also known as the father of geography. So why? He was the one, he was the first people who said that because of the pressure gradient, the wind is flowing from the high pressure to the low pressure. He was the first one who explained about the importance of the river Nile. He was also the one who explained about the process of the formation of the soil. So he was a very important person with respect to the geography itself. So like history divides the time into sections, like the ancient history, medieval history, modern history. Similarly, the geography divides the space into sections. So there is always been a space time relationship. Like why the Battle of Plassey, the Battle of Figueria was fought on that special particular location itself. Why on not on the other places? So these all the things are explained by the geography itself. So geography nowadays, so nowadays geography also plays a very important role. Like we can see the geography into the tourism. We can see the geography into the GIS and remote sensing. We can find the relevance of the geography in the medical geography also. We can find the geography in the settlement, in the town planning. Even we can add the geography in the astronomy also. Like I'm saying, the earth is itself not static. So why our earth has the life? Why our earth has the life? So the simple answer is the our earth is in the habitable zone. So it is in the place where it can sustain the life. So you can add the geography into the different sections or in the different disciplines, because the space is very important to analyze the things. That is why geography is a symbiotic kind of subject. Now from this lessons we are going to explain the heat budget of the earth. So what is the meaning of the budget? So budget is nothing but the annual income and the expenditure that you are going to utilize your resource in the best possible way. Suppose you have the 1,000 rupees and you are going to invest that 1,000 rupees into the 5 days. So you must have to made a plan so that in order to get the maximum possible utilization of that 100,000 rupees in that 5 days. So that is the meaning of that budget. Similarly, what is the meaning of the budget of the earth? So in order to understand the budget of the earth, we have to understand about what is the meaning of the insolation. So this in means incoming, sol means solar, this ion means radiation. So the incoming solar radiation is the insolation. So why we have the different types of different intensity of the insolation on the different surface of the earth? This is because of the tilt in the earth with the 23.5 degree angle. So suppose this is the sun, this is the sun. Now in this sun we have the nuclear fusion, and because of this nuclear fusion the hydrogen and hydrogen molecules are going to combine, and making the helium atom. So continuously this fusion process is going on, and because of this fusion process the heat or the combustion activities are followed, and because of this combustion we get the light and the heat from the surface of the sun. So suppose this is our earth. So this radiation, this electromagnetic radiation from the sun, since light is an electromagnetic radiation, it is made up of the photon particle. So E is equal to h nu. H is the Planck's constant, nu is the velocity of light. So this radiation is falling on the earth. So suppose that 100% insolation is falling on the earth. Now that earth has the magnetic layers. So this earth will protect from the harmful radiation from the sun, and after that we receive the 100% insolation. Suppose we are getting the 100% insolation on the earth surface. So this, from this earth surface we have the different layers of the earth, like the troposphere, lower stratosphere which contains the maximum amount of ozone, the upper stratospheres, so up to the ionosphere we have the atmosphere. What is the meaning of the atmosphere? The blanket of air surrounding the earth is known as the atmosphere. So in that condition, from this 100% insolation, the 35% is, the 35% is reflected, refracted, diffused, scattered, and has to face the total internal reflection during the process of reaching the earth, or during the process of transmission. So that 35%, from this 35%, the 27% is reflected by the clouds, and the 2% in the ice fields. From now 6% in the atmospheric reflection, or in the total internal reflection. So if you add this all you will get the 35%. Now that 35%, now this 35% is the albedo, of the earth. What is the meaning of this albedo? Albedo is the reflecting capacity of a substance. Now from that 35%, subtract this 35. Now let us subtract this 35, that is the albedo of the earth, from this 100, and after subtracting this 35 from this 100 you will get the 65. Now from this 65, again the 14% is absorbed by the atmosphere. So what you will get? So you will get this 51. That 51 is known as the heat budget of the earth. That 51 is known as the heat budget of the earth. So if there is a climate change and there is impact on the heat budget of the earth, or impact on the insolation because of the global warming, then it will affect on the whole climatic condition or the physical phenomena that are happening on the surface of the earth. So if there is the increase in temperature, it will lead to the global warming, and because of that global warming, the heat budget of the earth, that is that 51%, will be increased. And if this 51% will be increased, it will have the drastic impact upon the earth and its species that are living on the earth surface. Now in the night condition, that 51% that 51% of the heat budget of the earth is absorbed by the earth, and after absorbing this 51% insolation, after absorbing this 51% insolation by the earth will emit the terrestrial radiation. Now that terrestrial radiation from the surface of the earth are of the higher wavelength, and this incoming radiation from the sun has the shorter wavelength. So if this has the shorter wavelength, so its frequency must be high, and this terrestrial radiation have the longer wavelength, and if it has the longer wavelength, its frequency will be less because its wavelength is high. So in the night time, again that 51% insolation that has been absorbed by the earth will emit again in the night, along with that 14% absorbed insolation by the atmosphere. So again 51 plus 14, that is the 65%, is emitted by the earth's surface in the night time. So in the daytime, that 65% that we are getting in the daytime will again move in the space in the night time. So this is the meaning of the total heat budget of the earth. Now what is the meaning of the total internal reflection? So you have seen the formation of the rainbows, or the different phenomenon or different aerosol that are suspended in the atmosphere. So whenever the insolation or the light or the electromagnetic radiation passes through that aerosols or the suspended particles, so it will do a scattering or have to follow the principle of diffusion. So what is that meaning of the total internal reflection? So what I'm saying, this reflection is actually the phenomenon of refraction. So why we are saying this at the reflection? So let us see the whole mechanism of the total internal reflection. So let us consider a medium. So suppose this is the medium A and it has the refractive index nu, and this is the medium B that has the refractive index nu naught, and the light is traveling from the denser to the rarer medium, and this one is the normal line. So here nu is greater than nu naught. The refractive index of the medium 1, that is the nu, is greater than the nu naught. That means the light is traveling from the denser to the rare medium. Now suppose we have this ray 1. Now this ray 1 is traveling from the denser to the rare medium. So if this ray is traveling from the denser to the rarer medium, so that velocity must be increased or it will far away from the normal. So here angle I1, this is the refraction I1 R1. Now again we have this ray 2, angle of incidence 2. Now from this 2, this is again moving from the rare to the denser medium, so again it will move far away from the normal. So here I2 and this one is the R2. Now again the ray 3, the incident ray is passing from the denser to rare medium. Now that ray 3 reach up to the 90 degree, and whenever it reach up to 90 degree, this is not known as the critical angle. When the angle of incidence become the 90 degree, this is known as the critical angle. And if this is the I3 and this one is the R3, now this ray 4 is again traveling from the denser to rare medium. So in that condition, the angle greater, if there is the angle greater than the critical angle, the ray will remain in the same medium. So here we will get the refracted ray. This is the incident ray, this is the refracted ray. So here the angle, so here the angle I4 and this one will the R4. So here you can see the ray 4, because of the angle higher than the critical angle, remain in the same medium, and because of this we can say if there will be the angle more than the 90 degree, that means the critical angle, and if ray is falling on that surface, then the ray remain in the same medium, and if the ray remain in the same medium, it is known as the reflection. Suppose this is the normal, this is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray. So here the incident ray and the reflected ray remain in the same medium is known as the reflection. So here what was going on, what here the refraction process was going on, but because of the angle greater than the critical angle, this ray remain in the same medium and happened the process of reflection. So that is why we are saying this phenomena as a total internal reflection, but actually this is not the process of reflection, it is the process of refraction. And where we are going to use the total internal reflection, so in the optical fiber we are going to use in this total internal reflection, or there are many different purposes we can use the optical fiber, like we can use this optical fiber in the communication process also. It is used also to transmit photographic signal from one place to another place. It is used in the indography. So there are many applications of the optical fiber. So this is all about this class that we are going to discuss from the heat budget to explain all about the total internal reflection.